Ahead on Daytime Buffalo, we learn about the significance of Easter and how you can celebrate Holy Week at OLV's National Shrine and Basilica. And later I talk to legendary comic Donnell Rawlings ahead of his headlining shows at Helium Comedy Club. It's all coming up right now on Daytime Buffalo. Hello and welcome to Daytime Buffalo. I'm your host, Chelsea Lavelle. Well, Easter is coming up this weekend, but the holiday is much more than egg hunts and bunny rabbits. Here to tell us about the cultural significance of Holy Week and Easter and how they're recognizing it at the OLV Basilica this year is Father David. Thanks so much for coming in today, Father.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Of course. Let's talk first about the significance of Holy Week.
Well, these are the high holy days for the church, for the Catholic Church, but for Christians throughout the world, because we commemorate Christ's passion, death, and resurrection. And that's why we call it the Sacred Triduum, the great 3 days. And it's a time for all of us to reflect on what God has done for us in giving us his Son.
This is one of the most important weeks for the Catholic community, right? Can you explain
to
us why?
It is, even more than Christmas. Yeah. The whole reason that Christ was born was for this purpose, was to save us. So we commemorate that passion, that death, that resurrection. We renew our own faith, our own commitment to live as Christians in the world today, and that call to service and that call to love modeled by Christ for us.
Well, we've got Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and then Holy Saturday coming up. How should individuals approach these days?
So Holy Thursday begins with the evening Mass of the Lord's Supper, which is when Jesus gathered with the apostles in the upper room. They celebrated the Last Supper, but in a real sense it was the first supper because it was the first Eucharist, where Jesus gave his body and his blood for us. And then after that, he got up from the table and he washed the feet of the apostles, which was unheard of. That was the work of a slave. And when you think about it, he washed the feet of Judas and Peter, who would deny him. And so that call to service, he modeled for us, to literally lay down his life and to serve and care for others. And then that Mass actually concludes with a procession of the Blessed Sacrament from the main altar to a side altar. And then there's adoration until 10 o'clock at night, where people can come and pray before the Blessed Sacrament.
Now, Easter is obviously a big holiday. A lot of people celebrate, but why is it so special?
Because it is the resurrection of the Lord. It's the pinnacle. It's the culmination of everything that we believe. And the whole reason that God did this for us was to give us that promise of eternal life, that through the sufferings of this world, we bear our own crosses, we will die, we'll be buried, but we also believe that we will also resurrect, that our bodies will be glorified in heaven with God. So Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and he shows us the way forward.
Well, tell us about what your community members will be doing this week at the Basilica.
So we'll have Mass tomorrow evening at 7, and then on Friday, Good Friday, there is no Mass, but we have what's called the Passion Service. And on that at 3 o'clock hour when Christ died, we will have the recitation of the Passion from the Gospel of John. We'll have the veneration of the cross, and then the distribution of Holy Communion. We'll also have stations at 12 noon out in the cemetery, 12 noon in the Basilica, and 7 o'clock at night in the Basilica. And then Holy Saturday begins with the Easter Vigil after dark at 8 o'clock. And the Easter Vigil is very special because that's the transition really from Jesus preparing for the resurrection. And so we will, that night, have the service of light. We'll have the service of the Word. We'll have the service of the sacraments. We have 21 people coming into the church this Easter at the Basilica, 4 adults being baptized, confirmed in Eucharist.
Oh, wow.
And the others are receiving confirmation and or Eucharist. So it's a great sign of hope for the church. It's a great sign of hope for all of us that God is still continuing to call people and that they're opening their hearts to deepen their faith and trust. And then Easter Sunday, we have 8, 10, and 12. So everyone's welcome. Lots of opportunities to come and visit the Basilica, lots of opportunities to celebrate the great gift of our faith.
Everyone's welcome is the motto of
all are
OLV.
welcome.
No matter where you are in your faith journey, or if you are even a person of faith, first of all, it is an incredibly beautiful place to come visit, right?
I encourage people to come, whether you have no faith tradition whatsoever, but you're looking for a place of solace. You can walk in there and just sit and be quiet, and you'll be amazed at the feeling that you have. And God speaks to all of us, no matter what walk of life, where we come from, what our faith tradition is. God is there for each and every one of us, and that's something everyone needs to remember, especially at this time of year and going forward.
Father, where can people learn more about the Basilica and all of the services that you have?
If you go to our website, olvbasilica.org, you'll find all of our services and updates on what's going on at the Basilica, and there is a lot going on. But we hope people will come and see the beauty of the lilies and the flowers this Easter season, because it'll be up for the 50 days of the Easter season. It's not just one day. We celebrate Easter for 50 days, so
Nice. All
lots
right.
of opportunities.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing more about Holy Week. Viewers, if you'd like to learn more about how you can experience Holy Week at the Basilica and view their whole schedule of events leading up to Easter, you can visit olvbasilica.org. Thanks again for coming in, Father David.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.